Well, let's make our way to the very first dungeon in the game, so at least we can able to actually retrieve, the first instrument. So, hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Tiona here once again, and I am back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, specifically The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, for the likes of the original Game Boy and for the Game Boy Color. So, last time we did manage to able to start the game off by not only retrieving the forms of the shield, but also the sword as well, and also we managed to able to get ourselves the tail key, so that way they'll pretty much leads me to the forms of the very first dungeon in the game. So today for this video, speaking of which, we're about to get started with the first dungeon in the entire game, known as Tail Cave. So, to be expected, it's one of the easier dungeons throughout the game, but either way though, it shouldn't be that much of an issue when it comes to likely trying to explore this place. So, anywho though, so let's get this thing to it, and obviously we'll just have to able to be sure we'll try to find a compass, which once again allows you to able to see what's on that particular dungeon itself, for some certain treasures or certain items that we can able to, well, keep an eye out for, and also some every other stuff every once in a while. And I believe just like in the forms of how it does it on, well, to be more specifically, just like in A Link to the Past, and especially noticeable, I think it's like Zelda 1 sometimes, that basically those certain items are usually obtained through certain dungeons themselves. So in this case though, is the fact that we might as well able to come across into one in the future. So anyways, let's grab the another small key, so that way we can able to open up the actual locked doors, just to able to go into the next rooms in between. So yeah, you probably expected by this point, and there are a few times though in certain rooms that we have to clear out all kinds of enemies in order to able to progress. So yeah, it's nothing too new or anything, besides the fact that we can able to actually just I think there was actually at one point or another that you might able to actually come across into a mini boss fight before you're able to actually receive the actual items in that particular dungeon itself this time around. So I'm guessing it's more accurately, it's just like the fact that, well, normally speaking, it's the fact that in the forms of in Zelda A Link to the Past, that basically in order to able to actually finish that particular dungeon itself, basically though is the fact that you need to able to retrieve the big key in order to able to actually just to go ahead and well, deal with the boss at the end. Whilst in here though, we need to obtain that actual special key called the Nightmare Key, which we'll point it out whenever we get into that particular boss fight during that time. So anywho, yeah, today's day is of course the 6th of September today, in this case in 2022 today, so not much else is going on for the sake of the forms of today's discussion, apart from the fact that until 3 days time, that the Sega Dreamcast, as far as the system itself, at least in terms of North America, that particular system will become, I will classify for saying 23 years old, specifically in North America. So at least that might be something is worth classifying for noticing this. So as you can see, we've managed to stumble across our very first dungeon item in this game, and that's what appears to be Rock's Feather. And basically what this does is that this allows you to have the ability to jump. So yes, technically speaking, this is our, well, technically if you ever count the forms of Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, so I'm guessing this will actually be the second time that Link can actually jump. So because obviously ever since the first time around they did this, it was the forms of, well, Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, because the actual gameplay style is remarkably different from any other Zelda games. So yeah, that's pretty much as far as you might as well expect. So, and also, ever since that you notice about the fact that Maxi has finally managed to make a comeback on Super Mario 3D All-Stars again, but this time around though, he's now moving on to Super Mario Galaxy, the final game on the entire compilation, because as a result though, that he's basically almost done with this. So, yeah, nothing to say about this for the most part. So anyways, let's go get ourselves the Nightmare's Key, as what it's called in here apparently. So yeah, now we've actually gotten that. So now we'll try to able to keep on exploring around in this entirety of the entire dungeon itself, and once we're done with that, then we'll pretty much be expecting to able to get ourselves the the first instrument. So, yeah, and I believe the amount of instruments we're about to be collecting for the sake of this game. Oh, and by the way, there's that cracked wall as you can see. But I don't think we can able to actually use bombs anytime soon until we're able to actually decide to get them. Until likely later down the road for the sake of this entire Let's Play itself. So, but I digress, since we've now actually just managed able to move on to the right room, so, or the right side of the dungeon, so in this case though, yeah, for the most part, Tail Cave is actually pretty easy when you get the hang of it though, apart from that one particular exception to that, which we'll point out whenever we're able to make our way towards the very end of this entire dungeon itself. So now we've got the map, which once again, if you manage to press the start button, basically it actually shows you the actual dungeon map in general. So in this case though, that it feels like we've almost done with this particular dungeon itself. Mind you though, is the fact that it's incredibly short as far as the length goes. So aside from all that stuff though, there's not much else to really discuss. So anyways, let's go ahead and deal with the Stelphos right here, at least one of them anyway. Ah, jeez, I'm getting pretty annoyed with this particular power-up music already. Oh, and by the way, this is where we come across into one of those mini-boss fights, which I think this guy was actually known as Spike Roller. So basically, all you have to do is basically you have to use the rock feather in order to actually just to jump over those rolling spikes, as you can clearly see on screen. And then after a few amount of hits on him, then basically not only do we get ourselves our familiar fairy, but also we were able to actually access the portal. Now what that portal can do is the fact that that allows you to actually go back to the very beginning of the entire dungeon. So it's kind of similar way from how it does it in the forms of in the magic mirror from the likes of A Link to the Past. So as a result though, that although except unlike any forms of how it does it on A Link to the Past, that normally you can able to use that one particular item in order to hit back. Whilst in here though, you can able to actually decide to use the portal at any point. So yeah, there's not much else to say about this for this point right here. So, oh yeah, and sometimes in certain rooms, as you can see, sometimes we stumble across these little weird, like, casino kind of, like, enemies kind of vibe to it. And then basically, if you mash all three of them in one, basically, though, you can either get either sometimes hearts, or most of the time, I got myself rubies, which that's alright for me, because obviously, we need to grind as many of those rubies as I could. So just in case if I was able to buy myself some important items to the table. So, and it feels like that this will be the last room we can explore. But before we get into that though, we need to head down here. Because, well, there's nothing else in there aside from dead bodies. So, yeah, that might be seems a little bit more gruesome at some form or another. Oh yeah, there are a few times though in certain dungeons throughout, sometimes you're able to stumble across the forms of the 2D sections every once in a while. Meaning about the fact that we have to do with 2D platforming. So, anyways, let's head into this door, and oh no, it's this guy again, ever since A Link to the Past. Here we go folks, here's the first boss fight in the game, known as Maldolum, which basically though is, actually kind of thinking about it, it's actually way more pathetic this time around though, than the forms of how it does on the forms of A Link to the Past this time around though, so I guess it's a good thing. Once again, if you do manage to defeat certain bosses in certain dungeons, not only does it give you a heart container, but also one of the instruments. In this case, we have Full Moon Color. So in this case, though, we're able to actually hear that music there, and that way we'll pretty much conclude the first dungeon in this entire playthrough so far. Swamp. A path opens. In the blooms. Alright. Something worth classified for the next hint we're able to go into. So of course, since we've actually got ourselves now up to... Oh, hello. Wood. That is an instrument of the Sorens. I have to admit, at first I did not believe you were real. That instrument, along with the 7 others in the set, has the power to wake the windfish. You must collect them all. I was instructed to give you directions. The next goal is north, the Goboko Swamp. Route, indeed. Again, I do apologize for that misspelling correction for certain dialogue text here and there, but that's mainly because, well, it has been about a couple of days since I actually did manage to last touch this, because ever since, you know, after all, that's in addition where, oh, I just realized something else is happening. Hey buddy, it's serious, yeah, really serious, yeah, it is. The Mobilans came to the village. Yeah, that's right. The whole gang of Mobilans. Then it's for real. They all went to the house. Yeah, that house. And then they did something at Bow Wow's house. It was a real bad scene with the Mobilans. So I mean, it might be faster to find out. Yeah, you probably get the idea. So, yeah, it turns out that one of those NPC characters has been kidnapped. So, yeah, we have to find him somehow. So, speaking of such though, let's talk to her quickly. It's terrible! My Bow Wow was dognapped by Mobilans. Oh, please, somebody help my poor Bow Wow. Again, I do apologize for that particular dialogue error, but that's mainly, as I said, it's been a long while since I actually played this, because after all, like I said before, since then Maxie has now finally come back into Super Mario 3D All-Stars, that he's now playing Super Mario Galaxy, but also it's the fact that some Toy Cells has already managed able to get onto another Game Boy Let's Play as well, which this time around though is the conclusion to the Donkey Kong Land of games, which is by the forms of Donkey Kong Land 3. And as a result though, yeah, it's gone pretty slow, I have to say. Yeah, because originally we were able to actually decide to do Mario Party Superstars and during at some point in, well, during this month, but we have to wait for a little while until we decide to do it until October, which meaning about the fact that that could be also around that time that we are able to actually decide to do, well, it's a good thing we're able to actually save Mario Party Superstars until next month in October, just in case if one of those boards, Horrorland, will be expected to be on Halloween. So, yeah, that's to be expected, so. Anyway, so let's go ahead in here, and let's see what the fuss is all about. Ugh. Who's this suspicious looking runt? Okay boys, let's get rid of him. Alright, so it looks like we have some of these enemy encounters, and right off the bat we got the Guardian Acorn, so that way we can defend ourselves, even though despite the actual, the power-up music is still annoying every once in a while though, which I'm pretty sure it does the same thing on the Switch remake, but at least unlike in the Switch version, it doesn't bother me at all, because the forms of the audio sound, wasn't all that loud for my liking. Oh, you must be an assassin sent by Madame Mao to rescue the Munt. You came here to get me, but it is I who will get you. Alright, so we have to come across into another mini-boss fight right here, as you can see on screen. And because of that, though, we're about to be taking down this particular Mobilan Chief. I think that's what it's called anyway. And I think the actual area itself is actually going to takes place in Mobilan Cave. So, yeah, we pretty much expected for that point. So, yeah, we just have to watch out for his attacks and stuff like that, so he might be pretty easy to deal with, as you can tell, because obviously since I did manage to able to know what to expect, especially noticeable that thanks to the actual Rock's Feather, thankfully you can able to actually avoid a lot of stuff is twice as easy, because obviously you do have the ability to jump, so. But again, it's kind of annoying about the fact that you're gonna have to keep on switching those item inventory stuff, or else, you know, unlike the Switch version, that again, you're able to actually have the ability to have the sword and shield with you at all times, rather than just keep on switching and stuff, so. Anyways, let's meet up with him. You saved Bow Wow. What a fearsome beast. Although, to be fair though, it's almost like a chain jump more than anything, so now we've actually got him. So in this case though, let's go ahead and leave the Mobilan Cave from now on, because we are essentially done here, so it's only for a small area, I suppose, but anyway, so as you notice that we've now actually guided Bow Wow Hoot, that is a fearsome looking animal you have there. Do not forget the next instrument is in Go Bongo Swamp. Alright, roger that. So anyway, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, every once in a while though that you must able to actually use Bow Wow for the next dungeon, because as far as the actual progression goes, that we must able to actually use him for the sake of the forms of that particular progressioning, because that will be important. And there's also the camera building right there, which I'm guessing we'll save that up for later, because obviously that, obviously we need to take care of the forms of... Actually, kind of thinking about it though, I just realized, maybe we can probably do, well, we've already done one dungeon already, but we might able to actually do the second dungeon and during the forms of this part. So, yeah, I'm guessing it's kind of like the similar thing for how it does it in Zelda 1 Let's Play. If you guys want to check that out for the entire Let's Play of the game, then by all means you can able to look it up. But, seems like we can probably decide to do 2 dungeons in one video. So, although it might not happen that often though, because until when it gets to the point until likely in every Tuesdays and Thursdays according to this uploading schedule, because, well, it's pretty obvious about the fact that unlike, you know, Zelda 1, and especially noticeable with The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past, that basically though we've managed to upload certain videos with a certain amount of length. Whilst in here though, it might actually be kind of short and lengthy, well, most of the time, but we'll see what happens during that some form or another, and I'm almost gonna get myself my health wrecked, but luckily though we somehow managed to escape during that time. So anyways, here's the next piece of heart right there. I actually get the feeling that you can't able to actually take a massive shortcut by just simply just do this awesome trick by utilizing the forms of Rock's Feather, but unfortunately though, from the look of it anyway, it might look impossible to obtain it. So yeah, I must admit though, I have no idea why I just went there in the first place, but we do need something in order able to actually just to get the piece of heart, but don't worry, we'll be back for it soon enough. So anyway though, and another thing I would like to discuss upon, and that is the fact that I'm pretty sure enough that, relatively speaking, when it comes to the forms of one of those Pokemon titles for the Nintendo DS, called Learning with Pokemon for the Typing Adventure on the DS, I definitely heard about the game, but obviously I didn't get a chance to able to get it because, well, it might be pretty hard to find right now, and also about the fact that, well, it requires a keyboard in order to play the game. So I can assure you about the fact that I would like to definitely get it, but it might be a bit too late for it right now, because obviously I'm still aiming for, you know what I mean, other Switch titles coming up for it in the future, specifically until next year in 2023, if it's possible and whatever. So, of course, this particular room is not important just yet though, but again, we'll get into that. But what's also cool about the forms of having Bow Wow with you, and that is the fact that you can able to actually just to let him eat enemies. So yeah, that's actually pretty super dope if you ask me. And also we got the treasure contains 20 rupees. Oh god, I forgot about these guys with the actual, like, you know, the actual ONG-like creatures and stuff like that. If you get trapped by these guys, if you somehow accidentally equipped the shield with you, oh man, the worst thing that can happen is the fact that you lose your shield if you get, well, if you somehow manage to get involved in that particular ONG-looking creatures, as you can say, that I somehow managed to avoid, and somehow managed to able to let Bow Wow manage to able to actually eat one of these creatures, so I should be safe from here. So anyways, now we ended up on this particular swamp location, so we can able to actually just let Bow Wow do the job, so we can just let him eat certain bloom-like enemies and stuff like that. So although you can't kill them normally, because if you dare touch them, basically though you're gonna get hit. So, oh, there's another Guardian Acorn. Oh man, oh jeez, this music can get pretty irritating. But if you somehow manage to get hit a lot, then the actual power-up will warn off, or something like that. I kinda wish there was actually a time limit system or something like that, but anyway, we got another rupees. In this case, we've now got 50 more rupees, so that pretty much leads us to 184 rupees at the moment, so at least we'll be alright with this. So, And yeah, in order to get to this particular next dungeon, obviously we need to rely on Bow Wow in order to able to actually progress. So since we've actually get rid of one of them, so at least there might be still a way we can able to actually just let him eat them all. So no, go away. I hate this message sometimes. It always pops up every time I go near to the actual rock. Although thankfully on the Switch remake, they get rid of that annoying notification. But anyway, enough about that jibby jabber. Let's head into the forms of the second dungeon, Bottle Grotto. So yeah, this seems interesting. So anyway, and remember that magic powder that we've actually got? Well, I'm pretty sure that particular magic powder will be mandatory in order to progress, because obviously that in certain rooms like that one over there, the one we've already done, basically we need to lit up the room, so just in case you can able to progress. So anyway, so now we've got the small key on that room, and I think we should probably backtrack for a little bit until we able to... But there's also that treasure chest over there, but as you can see on this room right there, this room has filled to the brim with those pots. And I know that might be something that's usually coming up though. But then again, I will point it out whenever we get into one of those specific stuff. Anyways, let's deal with more of those bats. Bats! I hate them! Anyway, so we've lit that up, and somehow I got hurt by mistake. But oh well, no big deal. But at least we can able to lit up this room. And, oh god, these little, like, enemies right there, they always home in on me at first. But thankfully I managed to get rid of them, so... And we got ourselves the stone beak, which I forgot to mention about this actually. At some form or another, that you might come across into those owl statues in certain dungeons. In order to able to activate them, well, basically you need to able to obtain this stone beak item. And basically, if you somehow manage to obtain that, basically though, you can able to actually use the stone beak and able to use it on one of those owl statues to able to give you tips and tricks in order to able to progress on certain dungeons. So yeah, that's something that's worth noting for. It's kind of similar to the ones and how it does it in one of those grey, you know, the hints block thing from the likes of A Link to the Past, except the fact that, well, relatively speaking, it just I have no idea what I'm saying for this boy right now, because I'm dealing with this kind of a tough enemy to deal with at first, Grant, but oh jeez, he's actually, oh god, and I just realized he has his shield with him, so I'm gonna have to kill him. Come on. Ah, he's way good at defending himself. Hold on. Let me just use a spin attack technique will do, so that way we can able to easily deal with him that easily, and we can get another small key while doing so. And of course, much like the forms of how it does it on The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past, that basically that we've actually stumbled across those kinds of switches in order to progress. So for instance, since that particular switch is now going to be like, well, blocks your path, and then basically have to keep on, you know, switching and stuff like that. Even though it's hard to explain, and... oh god, what is up with that enemy? I wonder if I can able to just look away from him. Actually, I'm very curious to see what this particular face actually looks like, because since that we've already come across into... is that appears to be like a Shy Guy? Oh no, it can't be. Although his name is a little bit different than the likes of certain Mario enemy encounters. So as a result though, yeah, that enemy that we just managed to deal with, it kind of reminds me of like Shy Guys somehow. So... anyways, we got the compass, so we know what to expect. So I suppose we should probably, oh god, some more stealthos. Ah, god, I always get cornered. Oh yeah, I suppose I should probably explain about this as well. Also, throughout the majority of this playthrough, I must admit that I should probably do for the sake of time. I'll promise you guys, I'll probably should do a no-death run, because... there's actually that particular reward if you somehow managed able to do the no-death run playthrough of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, either on the Game Boy or the Game Boy Color, or even a Nintendo Switch remake. Basically though, I think there was something that's, although it's nothing groundbreaking, but at least something is worth bringing up, if you just somehow managed able to actually decide to do the full-on perfect playthrough for the sake of this majority of the game. Mind you, I did manage to get hit several times, but anyway, let's deal with even more Shy Guys. And how do we get that key? well, we're gonna have to backtrack for a bit. So, yeah, that's the only thing we need to classify for doing this. So, hopefully, though, it shouldn't be that much of a problem, though, I don't think. So, we're just gonna have to backtrack and hope for the best, really. Anyway, so let's just go ahead and go here and grab the small key in the process. So that way we can able to progress as far as this is concerned. And keep on switching the actual switch on again. And trying to jump over for these bottomless pits. Although, you don't necessarily die instantly if you fell off. You just respawn back into the beginning portion of the room you just entered. So, and by the way, with these enemies right there, in order to deal with them, you must be sure you need able to get your shield equipped. And that way, if you manage to able to equip your shield, these little shell-like enemies just able to actually just tip over, and then it's your chance to able to attack them. So, that's pretty much... Oh, for God's sake, go away! God, I hate this message. I hate that notification so much. Although it's only apparent on the original version of the game. Because like I said, thankfully the Switch remake managed to fix that particular annoying notification keeps popping up. But anyway, let's go into this 2D section while trying to able to equip the Rock's Feather so we can able to do some easy platforming. Because obviously jumping is important for the sake of some 2D sections. And even some other times, going over bottomless pits sometimes. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and grab the wing hearts, which, yeah, you need to able to jump onto it, by the way, so just in case if you want to obtain it, so... Anyways, let's go in here, and oh god, what the heck is up with this thing? But anyways, here's the forms of the next mini-fight, which appears to be by the forms of, Hinox, which I think that's what his name anyway. Basically, all you have to do is basically just keep on using his sword swings on him, and basically that's what you have to do. But be very careful to able to not get hit by these bombs as what he's keep on tossing at. So basically, just do some sword swings on him, and he should be good to go. Can be pretty tough sometimes, I must admit though, but there's also another variation of him until later on throughout the game. But we're not gonna spoil things yet, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and continue, and there's more bats to deal with. I mean, seriously, there's so many bats in this game sometimes. Oh god! Oh, I just realized something, we're just getting sucked up by the, this weird thing in the bottom left corner. But anyway, so let's head onto this chest to get a map. So, at least we got the map at the very least, so... I'll double check on the forms of the actual, what the map itself looks like until whenever we approach onto, the next room, or maybe, I think we should probably, like, I don't know, proceed, I suppose, so, and we should able to get ourselves, thankfully though, as soon as we get that item though, then we can pretty much expect what's gonna be up, so, of course we got even more rubies there, so, yeah, to be expected by this point. And, have we got, yeah, we got one small key, so that should be alright for me. And if we go in here, oh god, is it like booze? Gee, no wonder why they keep on referencing some other things. But anyway, when we light those up, then we'll get ourselves the treasure chest, which actually gives us the power bracelet. Basically, this allows you to able to now have the ability to carry objects, such as, for instance, either stones, or, rocks, or, certain parts. So in this case though, we'll pick one right there. It's pretty weird, you need to able to actually just to press the directional pad after picking up these things. So it's kind of weird at first, because I keep on thinking about, you know what I mean, A Link to the Past and stuff like that. Because you get that from the get-go, but it's pretty weird that you have to unlock that particular ability to carry things during a later portion of the game. So yeah, it's kind of weird, honestly. And another small key that we've actually got. So, now we've actually at least got the forms of the ability to carry stuff and also throwing stuff at the same time as well. So, now we just need to able to actually get ourselves the Nightmare's key until we're able to take on the next boss in the game. So, not exactly sure who is it going to be, personally, but, we'll figure that out. Oh god, those stealthos are... Not gonna lie, kind of annoying in this game sometimes, but I'm sure we'll try to able to cope with these things, I'm afraid, so... Alright, so now we've done with this, okay, I just somehow grabbed the rupee. Now this room right there might be important, especially noticeable that, oh, goody, we got another power-up, which is the piece of power, but unfortunately, though, the music needs to be replaced, so, whoops. Well, nothing matters anyway, because we've almost done with this particular dungeon so far. So, oh, is that appears to be like, I don't know what you call it, like piranha plants? Although I do definitely know that we see that familiar Goomba from about a few moments ago. So, yeah, it feels like that we stumbled across a lot of Mario enemies in here and there. Although, despite the fact that they do have their different names on there personally. So, anyway, so in here, this is where we're able to actually just do, well, toss some more parts or pick up some more parts here and there. And, yeah, I think this is the room we've already technically explored. So, although the reason why I'm just coming in here because of, well, to be expected to pick up some more hearts to able to actually just refill our health. So, yeah, just in case if I don't get a game over. So, if I do get a game over though, I'll be really upset. So, anyways, let's head into this portal. And basically, I'll just try to get that treasure chest to be opened. And that revealed even more rupees. So, in this case though, we've got 50 rupees. So I'm presuming we're now up to 264 of those rupee counts so far. Oh, and by the way, something's worth noting for us that sometimes enemy respawns every once in a while if you manage to able to go back onto the previous rooms or something. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and see what's in here. Okay, so basically though, in this particular next puzzle room we can just try to sort out, basically though, we need to defeat certain amount of enemies in the correct order. So, in this case though, is the fact that, well, after dealing with the forms of not only Goomba-like enemies, but also the piranha plants, any kind of enemies here and there as well. So as a result though, yeah, it feels like it's something like a, I don't know, dream enemies? I mean, jeez, that must have sounded weird, doesn't it? Especially noticeable after dealing with like, oh, son of a biscuit. Ah, jeez, I really hate that. But, anyway, so let's go ahead and carry those parts, and then basically just shove this cube thing whilst we, oh, how the hell? Seriously, how come I just got hit by that weird thing just once? Or twice, rather. Actually, I think this is the wrong method, although, to be fair, we'll just backtrack for a bit. Although, to make things easier to get the actual replenish your health back, basically though, I like to simply just do this. Stomp on a Goomba, and then basically one of your hearts will be able to get its return. So, I like doing that. Especially noticeable, it really helps you throughout just trying to able to get one of your hearts back. So, to able to actually just restore your health entirely though. So, anyway, so let's just try this again, and I'm pretty sure this might actually be the correct way for doing this, but oh jeez. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong enemy pattern. So yeah, you can't kill with these things with just the actual sword swing, so you're gonna have to able to utilize the actual parts themselves. So, but yeah, I get the feeling, yeah, this is the wrong order. So my guess is the fact that we need to take down this rabbit-like enemy, and then also the bats, and finally the actual, the deadly-looking enemy, and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll keep trying. Let's go let that enemy to able to avoid me first. So, I'm guessing this is how we're supposed to do. Ah, there we go. The treasure chest pops up, and we get ourselves the Nightmare's Key, so that way we're able to take on the next boss. So, anyways, let's go ahead and deal with this stealtho enemy first. And goody, we got ourselves a heart, so thank you for that. Ah, jeez, always get hit by these guys. Especially they just keep on hopping around like nothing else. But hopefully we'll just try to able to actually clear this room as much as we can, as much as we could. But before we do anything, we'll just keep on breaking some more parts, so just in case we're able to see something inside. Between each and every single parts that I have to able to consider breaking. Speaking of such, there's a fairy right here. So I think we should be alright in here. after doing with this particular 2D section. So, yeah, we can just essentially try to complete it. So, it's important to know we need to always have to carry that part in that 2D section, because if you don't, basically though, is the fact that, well, luckily though, those ladders act out kind of similar to the ones in Zelda 1, so... Anyway, so now we've reached at the very end, and we're about to take on the next boss fight. So, in this case though, let's see what boss is it going to be this time. What appears to be a genie. Huh, interesting. You can't hurt me as long as I have my bottle. Okay, so basically this next boss fight, like I said, it appears to be the genie of any sort. And basically though, we can't deal the damage on him just yet though, unless, on this first part, we need to be able to stun that particular bottle. And then basically though, as soon as you get stunned, basically all you have to do is basically, we always need to equip the power bracelet with you. And just try to carry the bottle and toss it onto any walls, so that way it deals the damage on the bottle. So I think this boss fight is divided into two phases. So the first phase is that you get out to deal with the actual bottle itself, and then I believe the second phase we need to deal with the genie himself. So I think that's as far as I can usually try to explain about this boss fight in general. So yeah, overall, a pretty a joke of a challenge when it comes to certain boss fights throughout. So and of course it'll repeat the exact same line again, so there's no point for able to discuss on that front. So for the most part, this boss fight is not too difficult or challenging, so in this case though, it's just the fact that you always have to rely on the power bracelet and all that stuff. Wah! You broke my bottle! Why, you make me hopping mad! Or hoping mad or anything, so... Yeah, every once in a while though, he goes all crazy, and now it's your chance to able to do some more sword swings on him, and then basically though is the fact that all I have to do is basically just keep on hitting him, and most of the time I've almost gonna get myself sacrificed, killed by the forms of those very annoying fireball projectiles sometimes, but after enough hits on them though, not only do we get ourselves another heart container, which we're now up to 5 so far, but also the next instrument, so... In this case though, let's see what instrument it is. You've got the conch horn. Okay, interesting. Even though it almost kind of reminds me of one of those episodes from the likes of SpongeBob SquarePants, whenever you manage to watch Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2. Basically though is the fact that SpongeBob just managed to continuously try to use the forms of the conch shell as a horn, or the actual one of those... I don't know what you call these things, and basically it actually calls Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy for some help. So I digress, I just want to bring this up. So, with that being said though, we'll go ahead and end things off here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, or Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color. And that is the fact that we must be able to take care of the forms of the secret seashells grinding first, before we continue our adventure. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Later fellas.